let's move on to fucking some UFC.
Okay.
George, what did I talk? We'll cover everything that was on this fight, but real quick, Khabib, our boy Khabib, who was on the undercard.
Mm-hmm.
Him as well as Thiago Alves got it done on the undercard.
They said Thiago Alves looks sharp in his comeback, which is awesome. I'm glad to hear that. For you guys who don't know, he's not coming off of, but he had literally had an issue with his brain.
Had an issue with what?
His brain. He got he had like a pre-fight. We're talking about Thiago Alves, the pit bull.
Yeah, didn't he get into had some
a couple years back? He had like an issue with his brain. Like there was a nerve or something in his brain that wasn't quite right, and they said if they wouldn't have caught that and had surgery to correct it, he could have got killed.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
or maybe I did, and I just so much time has passed. I'm being serious. I can't remember. But go ahead.
No, so that was it. I mean, it was for a free card. It's probably one of the best cards we've had all year, to be honest.
You know what? It was a good card, man. I turned it on and was working and watching it, and I couldn't even focus on working anymore because I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a typical card. It's going to kind of be not that all cards are snooze fest, but you get a couple fights in there that are kind of just real technical, and they're not as entertaining. But this one was pretty entertaining. I mean, almost of the 4 fights that were on the main card, they all were decent fights.
Yeah,
we'll start out with,
I would say that and then some, because I mean, go ahead.
Oh no! I was just just getting ready to start with the first fight. But where were you getting at?
Go for it. You go for it, guy.
The first fight was a middleweight fight between Yoel Romero and Brad Tavvaris, and
the only thing Mero has going against him is he's 36.
Yeah.
To be 100% honest. I mean, he absolutely dominated that fight from bell to bell. It was just a clinic, and that is a big boy. And I think until we really start blowing smoke up his ass, he's going to have to fight a guy in the top 10, maybe even the top 5, and then we can see. Because right now, if you look at his UFC record, Brad Tavvaris, I think, is the biggest fight that stands out right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on, you said Brad Tavvaris is the biggest fight that stands out? Oh, his fight of the people he's fought. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for Mero, for this guy Mero, from the people since he's been in the UFC, I think Brad Tavvaris is the biggest name right now in his UFC. Because let's see, okay, do me a favor, Kevin, just in all honesty, Clifford Starks.
Sure. I don't know who he is.
Exactly, Ronnie Marks.
I don't know who he is.
Derek Brunson.
Did you say Bear Bryant?
No, Derek Brunson.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know that George and I are in different locations. I'm in D.C., George is in Philly. It looks like we're in the same place, but we're not. Bear Brunson?
Yeah, Derek Brunson.
I don't know who that is. Oh, Derek Brunson. I do know who Derek Brunson is,
okay.
Yes.
And then Brad Tavvaris. So out of those 4 guys, I mean, he lost to Rafael Cavalcante in Strikeforce, and now he's gone on a 4-fight win streak. So,
right.
But he needs to fight bigger named guys in the UFC, and I'm sure that's coming.
Right. Now that he's been on this 4-fight win streak, I mean, hopefully he'll get in front of somebody that's, a formidable opponent and has a reputation. But yeah, you make a good point. Like, to this point, he hasn't fought a lot of big name guys and guys that are worthy of defeating,
Right.
But with all that being said, it was a great performance. He did what he had to do and to move himself up the ranks, and we tip our hats off to him. But let's talk about fucking the lightweight fight between Donald the Cowboy Cerrone and fucking Edson Barbosa. Because
dude, I have never seen a dude want to get off food stamps so bad in my life. That motherfucker is fighting like he is starving to death.
He is. When you texted me that shit last night, I was watching the fight, everybody, and after the fight was over, George texted me, damn, the Cowboy really wants to get off food stamps, because a few months back, if you guys don't recall, he was like, I'm broke. I've gone through all my fucking money, and I got to fight to fucking put food back on the table and build my income back up. And since then, the guy's been on a fucking tear. I mean, he's been knocking people out. He's like doing whatever he can to get fight bonuses, taking whatever fight he can do. And I tell you what, his pockets are filling up pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I thought for him last night, and I don't know if you thought this, George, I thought, okay, you know what? It's a wrap. Edson Barbosa, to me, was dominating that fight.
Dude, Edson Barbosa was hitting him with everything, but some of those shots didn't even make Donald's head turn. I'm like, good Lord. And I'm going to tell you what, here's another Greg Jackson fighter who ended a fight. Right. So maybe that idea of those boys up there, TriStar, really
we probably had that wrong a few years ago because we were like, okay, the people in Jackson's camp they're getting the job done.
Yeah, Clay came out super aggressive in his last fight. Donald Cerrone. Mm-hmm. Donald Cerrone's had 3 fights since he's fought in November, January, and April. We're looking at a triangle, a knockout, and a rear naked choke. Donald ain't playing. Yeah. Donald is hungry. He's got a habit to feed because if you ever watch some of his videos and his stuff on Instagram, he has lots of toys. And I'm going to tell you, 350 dually, dirt bikes, jumping this, going on boats. I mean, he got some expensive taste.
And you know what? He's doing it the right way, man, because, at the end of the day, he's always been a top-ranked lightweight. And the thing is, he's an exciting lightweight. People love him because he fights hard. He's an exciting fighter, and you know what? If he's the kind of guy that can get a shot because he's been there long enough, he always puts on an exciting fight. And you know what? People want to see exciting fights, and sometimes Dana and the way they do, it's a very unorthodox way how people get shots. He can end up slipping in there if someone gets hurt or whatever. The next thing you know, he has an opportunity. So he's worked his way right back up the ranks again. I don't know what's next for him, who's next in line for him, because there's so many damn lightweights out there right now. But I'm sure he's going to be fucking putting on another fucking performance.
Now this next fight, I'm sure Kevin enjoyed, and Liz Carmouche is not my typical style of fighter. I don't mind a good ground game if you're using transitions and you're going for submissions, or you're trying to move from one position to the other, side mount to do something. Liz Carmouche is just a wrestler. She gets you down and holds you down and just smothers you. Like, she made no attempt to end the fight from the top position side. And her ground game, cool. She got Miesha Tate down, but she didn't do anything when she was down there.
She couldn't do anything, and it's funny because Liz Carmouche has a record of she's knocked out a few girls. Let me just make sure that before I put my foot in my mouth. But I believe she's had 9 wins and 6 of them are by knockout. But I'm going to tell you what.
Let me tell you right now, if the women's class was deeper, she'd be out of a job because she's 1-3 in the UFC.
She's 1-3 in the UFC, and I tell you what, it tells you one thing. Ronda Rousey, it says a lot for Ronda Rousey, but Miesha Tate, it says a lot for Miesha Tate too. Miesha Tate, when she's not standing opposite of Ronda Rousey, is a damn good fighter. She's got better and better each year. Her hands look considerably better than Liz Carmouche, a woman who's knocked out. 2/3 of her wins have come via knockout. And I'm like, her hands are not even close to Miesha Tate's. She's trying to avoid standing up with Miesha Tate and shooting down and keeping her head low, just trying to get her to the ground. And like you said, doing absolutely nothing once she got her to the ground, And
yeah. I don't know what this puts in line for Miesha Tate, because let's face it, do we want to see her fight Ronda Rousey again? Probably not. We want to see Kat Zingano get her shot at Ronda Rousey, and then maybe Miesha Tate steps in and goes for another fight against Ronda. But I have a feeling Ronda Rousey does not have many fights left, because let's face it, they don't have enough opponents for her. Unless he can get Gina Carano in here and get her to make weight, there's not another. Kat Zingano's it. After Kat Zingano, you don't have a lot. Like, that's Dana White almost has to hope Ronda Rousey loses to Kat Zingano, even if it's a freak, even if it's one of these.
You are having a lot of problems saying this.
Dude, her last name's jacked up.
Blame it on her last name when you got a stuttering problem.
Yeah, pretty much. But Dana White needs Ronda Rousey to lose a fight for her to stay interested in fighting, in my opinion, because if she beats Kat, there's nothing left. And when I mean nothing, I mean nothing left, because there's no one left in the UFC for her to fight.
And this is the thing, and we touched on it earlier, or a few weeks ago. We talked about the possibility of Gina Carano coming back to the UFC to fight, set up a super fight against Ronda Rousey. But what you have to remember is that she's had distractions, Hollywood distractions. I mean, I don't know. I don't know personally how much she's been training or whatever, but I do remember when she was going to 145, she was struggling to make 145.
Ronda already said she'd fight her in a catchweight.
Yeah, now this is the thing, which is fine. I can say a lot of things too, like I'm going to slam the ball after I hang up the phone with you. You and I both know that this cricket cannot slam shit. You know what I mean? But this is coming from a woman who struggled to make 145. Like, and there's nothing in the world I'd like to see more than Gina Carano face Ronda Rousey. I think it'd be a great fight. I think Gina Carano deserves it because I think the title was taken from her for a girl that ended up testing positive for juice, and we said it all along. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like she lost that.
You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about.
I know people are saying that, but now but it's going to be hard. Like maybe she's keeping her weight down.
On July 5th, on July 5th, we'll see what Ronda Rousey has. She's going up against Alexis Davis, and Davis is riding a a five fight win. Yeah, she's on a 5-fight win streak, and she's beat Liz Carmouche, Rosie Sexton, Shayna Baszler, Jessica Ai, and next up is Ronda Rousey.
Who did she lose to? Miesha Tate?
Sarah Kaufman, Elena Maxwell, Shayna Baszler, Tara La Rosa back in 2009, and Sarah Kaufman back in 2007. She has a tough time with Sarah Kaufman.
Yeah, it's some of these girls and guys' games evolve, so maybe her game's evolved and it's got better. But these girls that are in there, the people that they have to face Ronda Rousey, I don't see anybody beating Ronda Rousey.
No, he needs to get warm bodies in there. And the thing is like I said, if Ronda Rousey starts getting some of that movie money and those movie roles, and she's already hinted at the fact she doesn't want to do this forever.
Oh, yeah, who does? Who wants to get fucking punched in the face? I mean, because
Travis Browne didn't.
Wow, yeah. You know what? I almost forgot about that. I was getting ready to go to basketball. Yeah.
No. Travis Browne. Look. Last night we got to see Fabricio Werdum versus Travis Browne. The winner of this has the unenviable task of taking on Cain Velasquez. Fabricio Werdum put on a fucking clinic. His hands are crisp. My problem is every time I think of Fabricio Werdum, my mind keeps going back to that Strikeforce debacle versus Alistair Overeem that just didn't make any sense to me. And to see that guy go from that to what he did last night, I don't know if his training camp has changed, if he's eating different food, or if he's using... I don't know what has changed, but he seriously at this point looks like the second best heavyweight in the world, and that's what he's ranked at. And I think he's going to give Cain a fit. I don't think he's going to beat Cain, but this isn't going to be easy for Cain.
It isn't, man. And it's funny. And remember when we went over this fight, we did the pre-fight video, and I talked about I always sleep on fucking Fabricio Werdum. I'm like, every time I doubt this guy, he does something. And you know what I said? I was saying, fuck it, I'm gonna go with him. And then the last second, I changed my fucking mind, and I knew I should have done it. I should just always go against Fabricio Werdum because he'll win. He probably should call Kevin White and tell him to not bet on me so I can fuck somebody up. But he looked really, really good last night.
Crisp.
I mean,
he took Travis Browne. He looked crisp. I mean, he showed no holes in his game last night. He took Travis Browne down, who's never been taken down. He beat him standing. Yep. He beat him on the ground. He beat him to the ring. He beat him in an eating contest. He beat him for most sweat dropped. I mean, there wasn't anything.
Everything.
Travis looked not like the same fighter we've seen. Now, he fights out of Greg Jackson's camp, and I hope today he's on a treadmill because his cardio stunk. I don't know if he gassed himself out throwing those giant haymakers, but that's the slowest uppercut I've ever seen.
It's it's funny because I want to look at his, I mean, obviously this was a 5-round fight, but I was wondering last night as the fight was going on.
I don't think he's had a fight ever go past the third.
The only fight he had a fight. The last time he went into 3 rounds was in 2011 against a Rob Rawson, and then he went in 3 rounds in 2010 against Czech Congo, which ended up in a draw.
Right.
I mean, his last 5 fights have been in the first fucking round.
What did he weigh in at? Was he at the top of that scale for the heavyweight? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Because, I mean, let's put it this way: he is not the most peeled heavyweight.
Yeah.
And if that big dude could get down to 205 and pick up the tempo and get just a hair bit quicker, whoo!
Yeah. He could. And it's funny how now when you see guys and you're thinking, you know what, man, you see them coming up and you heavyweights, and there are these heavyweights that are right around 235, 240, and they're not really lean, they're a little doughy and soft, and all of a sudden they tangle with the elite in that class, and you're like, wow, now you really see their skill set. Because, I mean, Fabricio, Werdum made you realize not just only how good he is, but it showed it created a blueprint for Travis Browne how to beat him. Like when you go up against somebody that's good. You see that person's weakness, cardio. His cardio needs to improve. You know what I mean? When he gets hit, he got weak on the legs. Like he did not have a lot of stamina, and it seems like after he got picked apart, he was not good at countering either. I mean, Fabricio was pop, pop, pop. He had no type of response to any of that shit, and it's like. I'm like, man, and then in the same breath, if you see some of these guys, like when Travis Browne fought these people previously, he just picked them apart and put them away really quick. You're like, man, this guy looks fucking incredible, which he is. I mean, he's a professional fighter, but it's just, there's so many tiers of.
But that lines us up for Verdoom to fight Cain, I guess, in the next couple months. And I'd hate to try to pick a winner of that fight right now. But like I said, I still think Cain should and will win that fight. But it's not going to be a walk in the park.
No, I mean it's not. I mean I'm looking at this. I'm looking back and seeing. Hold on. He lost against Overeem that one time,
and Dos Santos
knocked. Yeah. Andre Arlovski, you know what's funny, man? He seems like he has, I mean, I look at the people that have beat Verdoom, and it's like, it's these big guys that have great hands that are solid. But, I do say this about Verdoom. I think he is really focused. He's got an incredible ground game, and you realize at some point that he had to work on his hands, and he's done a great job at doing it.
Yeah, whoever his striking coach is has done a phenomenal job.